In the world of clicks and views, we got the tricks, ain't got time to lose. Christina and Joe dropping knowledge non-stop for all you realtors. Climbing to the top. Grab your camera, let's make the tape. Content gold, no time to waste. From open house to renovation glory, YouTube secrets unfold your story. Build those leads with every post. Christina and Joe, the ultimate hosts. Market trends and virtual tours. Turn those watchers into door knocking scores. Lights, camera, action, go live. Tips and tricks to help you thrive. Thumbnail magic, title spice. A clickbait charm, but a touch of nice. SEO game on point and tight. Comments buzz.
Eddie accidentally played this intro for my live stream this Sunday, and I was like, "Oh my gosh, it was playing!"
Everybody
like,
loved it, didn't they?
Oh, I had some guy that told me, he was like, you know, I'm a video editor, and this is the horrible, and how dare you use AI? And they're, oh my god, I was like, I ended up cutting it out anyway because it was, it was a mistake.
Yeah,
but I'm like, wow, how bitter. People are so
jealous. He's just jealous. It's fine. It's fine.
It's totally fine. I don't know why people are like this, but whatever. He was like, you can't call yourself a creator. Blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, dude, it's not that deep.
Some people, man.
Yeah, I ended up responding saying this was for another program. Sorry, blah blah blah. Left it at that.
You're nicer than me. I would just be like, I don't care.
Well, I just put out a video that I usually, if I know it's a controversial video, I only answer the first day, and after that I'm like, nope, not touching.
You're like, done. I'm off of the old YouTubes for a minute.
Yeah, not gonna answer those comments. But you know what? I do answer leads. As a matter of fact, I was like, we ran 1 minute late because I actually got a phone call from somebody, and then he ended up texting me because he's looking for a home in Florida. So be interesting to see.
Awesome.
Yeah, I'm excited. So if you guys didn't notice our thumbnail, Joe created part of that. I created the other part that with AI. You did that with ChatGPT.
It was with ChatGPT, yes.
Yeah, I've seen that going around the interwebs.
Yep.
Remaking these little figurines. How do you do it?
Mainly you just give it a prompt. Hey, put this picture in packaging and then make it look like that and add an accessories. If you guys want the prompt, let me know in the comments and I'll send it to you guys. But it's very, very simple. The hardest thing is actually getting the image to look like you because of their ChatGPT keeps changing like their guidelines and their policy on like how close you can replicate something that's been uploaded. So there are some little workarounds that you can make it look pretty close, but yeah, if you're interested and you want to make a little figurine of yourself or a little action figure, let me know. I'm happy to put it in the link. I've
put in images of myself to ChatGPT to try to make it, and I swear it makes my face. I mean, I know I have an oval face, but it makes it like this long. or it looks nothing like me. Not like I'm like, who is that person? So.
Yeah, I think it actually could do a really good job. It's just being like guided not to.
Yeah, it's being pulled this way. Yeah, I probably could do spot on, but anyways, yep. Well, we're talking about turning your channel into a leads machine, and we have a couple of channel reviews today, which is great. We haven't had some channel reviews in a while, so it's good to have those coming out. So let's talk about the first thing you could do to turn your channel into leads. Super simple. And I'm gonna share the screen in 2 shakes of a lamb's tail here because it's one of those things that a lot of people miss out on. It's so easy. Let me pull it up for you. I'm going to use my channel as an example. Oh, let's get her to shut up because she's talking. All right. Yeah, that was me, by the way. That was me talking. All right. So if you look right here, boom, you see this little thing right here? If you take your phone and you scan, like you take your phone and you scan it, it takes you automatically to my website. As easy as this is the simplest thing you could do. It used to be that channel banners would have you would have these little icons at the bottom that you could click on, where you could go to your website, it could go to a blog. I mean, you had like 5 different places you could put these little icons. They changed that, and so there was nothing for people to click on anymore. But it also turns out that a lot of people were watching YouTube on television. It's like honestly one of the fastest growing devices that people are watching videos. It used to be cell phone, hands down, but now more and more people are watching on their televisions. And if they go to their channel, your channel, they can see it right there. So you put that in there, right? You put that there. Another place you can put a link to how to get a hold of you is right here. You just go ahead and put it right here. I don't have that. I should have that, but I do not. So do as I say, not as I do. But I will show you this. Okay. I'm going to show you this because I just started doing this. And
hey everyone, big heads up. Paleo Valley's running a sale.
I started doing this. Hold on. Let me look right at the end of my video. You'll see something come up, and it's going to be my that QR code again. So right after the comment section, this is going to pop in. Boom, there it is. Go to my website. They can click on it because I know they're watching on their television, and they can pick up their phone because they have that in their hand, and they can go ahead and go to your website. That should be a landing page that you fill out. The client can fill out the information to get a hold of you. Or it can be a Calendly if that's something that you're used to using. I find that just doing it this way works a lot better.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it definitely, if they're watching on TV or whatever, it's just a very easy thing because typically they're on the couch or they're doing it and they have their phone in their hand. They've got it like right there. So
yeah, look, there's me in my overalls.
Hey,
in my big Ruin coffee cup. So yeah, that's a great way to just start adding a little bit of dimension. Now, I saw somebody just recently start doing the QR code instead of at the end of the screen, doing it towards the middle of their videos. And I thought that was really smart too, because especially if you look at your audience retention, and let's just say you're getting about 50% audience retention, put it there, obviously, right? If your audience retention is at like 20%, then put it there, like put it there. So that way people will watch it and get a hold of you, right?
100%. I mean, that's the whole idea. If you're looking at your analytics and your average view duration is 3 minutes, but you have a 20-minute video, maybe put it closer towards the 2.5-minute mark or something like that. But I think a lot of people are like, does it really matter? Does it really matter to put a QR code? And, it's like, it's just such a simple thing. Like, I don't think that it really makes that big of a difference. I think it's actually more effective than the link on the about section.
I think it's more effective than having it in the description of your video.
Yeah, for sure.
The whole QR code thing came about because Joe and I were meeting with another educator, not in our space, but he uses YouTube as part of his lead magnet thing that he teaches. Anyways, he said that once those little links went away, he was like, oh my gosh, we used to always put those in there. Why don't we just do that? So he had all the students put that QR code in the on their banners. And he said, oh yeah, they really had a awesome ROI on that. They started getting phone calls. And I was like, all right, I'm going to give this a test because I honestly thought it was baloney.
And it wasn't.
Yeah. Well, and it was so funny because I got done doing the whole banner and then put it up there. And I'm like, well, let's see what happens in a week. And then that, like 2 hours later, I got an email. I got an email. I was like, oh, how did you find me? And I saw that QR code on your banner. They didn't call it the banner. They were like, I was at your YouTube channel and I saw that QR code. So I just scanned it. And then I found out how I could get a hold of you. I was like, damn.
Yeah, it's awesome. You know, I think maybe also one thing that we could talk about that helps is what if you don't know how to make a QR code? That's a very simple thing to do now with ChatGPT, you literally can drop the URL in that you want them to go to and say, make a QR code, and it'll make a QR code.
Yeah, let's show them how to do it. ChatGPT. Oh yeah. We are loving it. My kids hate ChatGPT. You know that?
I know. The younger generation hates AI in general.
Uh-huh.
My daughter's an animator, and she's like, I hate AI. I will never use it. I'm like, if you don't, you'll be left behind.
Yeah.
And then I made an animation in about 2 minutes, and it made her sick.
Oh, well, oh, really?
She was mad.
It's saying ChatGPT is broken. It's not
What?
working.
No.
Huh.
Let's see what's going on here. They just released 3.0, like the updated. Let's see.
You do it on your end.
All right. We'll ask it.
Okay. Yeah, and just use the Real Estate Video Geeks thing.
Okay.
And that way people can scan it. But yeah, it was super simple, easy thing to make. And you can make QR codes for all sorts of different stuff. You could make it for your landing pages. You could have a QR code going to like any of your, a lot of people do those, free touring guides and stuff. So that way you can start capturing some of these people's information, because you want to have as many of these people that are watching your channels email information as possible.
Right.
And it isn't just for leads, because what if tomorrow, and this happens all the time, what if your channel gets hacked? How are you going to let people know that you're not on there anymore? And all of a sudden they're seeing Bitcoin videos when it used to be, your channel. That happened to somebody recently.
Yeah. All right. Should we put it in and show you?
Yeah.
Okay, so
this is the prompt that you'd use.
So I just said, make a QR code. And I said, sure. What would you like the QR link to be? So I'm just going to paste Real Estate Video Geeks. Let's see if it'll make it here.
Ooh, here it comes.
There is the QR code.
Yeah, so you download it.
We hit download.
It's going to download.
You'll see it's right. Oops, that's 11 labs. Hold on here. Hold on here. I got to.
That's all right. I want to scan it, make sure it's right. And check it, by the way. I haven't had it go bad, but I just, you always want to check these things.
Yeah, no, you definitely want to check it. Did that here? Can you see it? I can't see.
Wow.
Okay.
No, all I see is the ChatGPT thing.
All right, hold on 1 second. I got to go back in here.
Okay.
And we're going to present.
We're going to present that. And here we go. We're going to make it happen. 2025.
Maybe. Geez. Let's see. Window. Okay, here it is. Can you see it?
All right. I'm going to scan it. Oh, yeah. It went right to it. Like, it's going to go right to it. Yeah. It worked.
There you go. So that's a really simple way to make a QR code.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't know how to make them, basically just go to ChatGPT and say, make a QR code.
Mm-hmm. Yep, make it, and then you can put it on your banner. You can put it in your videos. You can, like I put it on as part of my end screen elements. You could point to it during a video. Like I said, Look at your audience retention graph. If you average around 30 or 40%, that's the perfect time to, like, at that 30 to 40% mark, say, if you want some more information about this house, if you're doing tours, you click right here, right?
Yep.
You can make, this is a really good idea. If you have a tourist channel, you tell them that, but make a specific blog page where, they have to fill out their information, but it shows the whole, like, tour of that house. And, it has a whole blog about that house as well. So that way they're wanting more information about that house. You're giving them an extended version of the walkthrough tour itself in that blog. And you're getting, like, win all the way around, because they're interested. I think that would just be perfect.
Yeah, it's really simple to do now, and it's really more about just like testing, different ways of doing things. So you may want to maybe you want to have it go to a specific page because you're testing different landing pages to see how to get their information, or you're split testing that. That's another thing that you know, a lot of times when this goes right into kind of the next thing that we're talking about. When you design a squeeze page or a landing page, you really need to make sure that number one, that it looks really, really good on mobile. So it's mobile friendly. So they don't have to pinch and squeeze or anything like that. So I know a lot of times with like the software for
High level.
high level, or well, no, not high level so much, but like, you know, your MLS. So
Right.
like your MLS, and it's like, oh, you put it in there and it goes to a link and you built it on your MLS page, or your broker gives you you know, a CRM. Like those things don't necessarily look the best. And honestly, like you should have your own CRM just to own your own data anyways. But if you're not designing it to be mobile friendly, then it's going to be a lot harder to get people to put their information in. So like you got to think of it as like the user experience of, is it simple? Is it easy? And is it intuitive? Like, I think a lot of people want, like, I need all of this information because I'm going to scrub the lead, when really you just need a name, phone number, and email.
That's all you really need.
You can get all of
Stop
the
being
other information after they reach out to you.
Stop getting fancy. I used to have a very, at the time for that time period, was a fancy website, and it had, you know, like a chat bot. It had, I mean, all these things that popped up, and it was like, honestly, now that I look at it, I'm like, oh God, I've tried to turn some of that stuff off. It's still there. I can't get rid of that stupid website. But anyway, the thing is that I learned very quickly. I ended up going just to Wix, you know, just made a quick Wix site. I mean, it doesn't do anything. That website does nothing other than you hit any of the pink buttons and you have to fill out a form. That is the easiest, smartest thing I've ever done in my life. I didn't make the site. I hired somebody to do it. But I mean, after I saw how it was done, I'm like, anybody can do this because it's all drag and drop. You can drag the pictures and you can drop in other stuff. It's very simple, easy thing to do. And in some of your videos too, like I had one on people wanted my spreadsheet for land. So what I did was I put that on my website, but they still had to fill out the form in order to get that. So they were like, you know, want access to this, you know, to the PDF for the, you know, spreadsheet, fill this out. And it was just their name and address. That was it. That's all I wanted, was their email address and their name. That's it. So that way I could start emailing them information. And that, you know, that's another thing too, is you can start like doing a newsletter. Do not hire a newsletter site, because nothing irritates me more, because I get all your newsletters and I'm like, oh, everybody hired the same newsletter site and they all are formatted the same. They all gave the same information. You know, like if you want to go and take somebody's newsletter, reformat it for yourself and it sound in your voice, you know, like don't hire a site to make your newsletters. That is the worst. I get a few and they're always the same. It's the same information from all these different real estate agents. I'm like, what are you really providing here? You're not really providing anything. I hate that. Lenders do it too.
Yeah,
Here's
because they
your
buy
market
this
minute.
service and then they just put their name on it and it's a templated thing and then goes out.
Yeah. Here's your market minute.
Yeah.
Market in a minute. Don't do that. I mean, the whole point of this is that you have to provide so much value to the people that are watching that they feel like they want to get a hold of you. And that's the whole name of the game, is that you need to give them something enough where they don't feel like you're trying to bamboozle them or pull the wool over their eyes, that they are so connected with you that they want to share and talk to you. Like they're excited to work with you. The more you try to, you know, here is this script I just bought off the internet, or here's this script that ChatGPT made for me, and I'm just going to read it and call it a day. That ain't going to work.
Yeah. One of the things that, like, people, I think if they realized how powerful sharing experiences about why you don't do a certain thing, instead of just saying, don't do this, but here's why you don't do it. Like the nightmare of why you make sure you have a good escrow officer, why you have a good lender, why you trust people. And there's, if when you start sharing, because if we've been in business for a minute, there's always a story that either happens to you or that happened, or you help them avoid it. And it's like those types of exchanges, when you share that stuff, it becomes where people are like, you're relatable, and they're like, oh my gosh, yes, like I don't want that to have happened. That's exactly why I came here, is because I'm trying to understand like what really my options are. And you just explained in a way that I understand and I like, but I need a little bit more information or a little more clarity. So and because you're formatting your video in the right way, where you're having yes, for the call to action, so that they're like, oh my gosh, like they're telling me it's okay for me to reach out to them and talk to them. And a lot of people are very surprised when you answer the call or you email them back, and they're like, oh, I just figured you're too busy, because it's that whole element of, oh, you're making YouTube, so you're like a celebrity to them in a degree to where they're like, oh, they're not going to have time to talk to me.
It's funny because that guy called. He called right when this was starting, and so I could read his message from the voicemail. So I texted him and said, "Hey, can I call you back in an hour?" And he's like, "I would be honored."
Yeah,
I would be honored.
Where else? What other internet lead would be honored for that? If you didn't call back in 10 seconds, they're already gone.
Exactly. Moving in Charleston says, I was focused on home tours for high-end buyers relocating to Charleston. Mostly elevated one-off homes in non-HOA neighborhoods near downtown or the beach. The average price point is around $1 million. Do you think it's possible to be too niche and that could limit my growth? Should I consider broadening my content to include multiple price points in my area? A home tours channel. I don't know what kind of channel you have. I don't know. Is he on our review channel thing?
I don't know, but
No.
if he wants, he can submit it and we'll do a review.
Okay. So like I've heard this before, because people were like, oh, because people would say, I was at the beginning of my YouTube journey, they'd say, you're too niche.
Yeah.
All you talk about is mobile homes. And I'm like, well, that's not it. And then I had a viral video that went crazy, and they're like, it was tiny homes. And they're like, you don't even sell those. What are you doing? And like, this is so stupid. And I'm like, that's not it. You can be too niche where you're just talking about one thing, like one little house. Yeah. If I just stuck to mobile homes, I could have been too niche. Maybe. Because there's so many different aspects of mobile homes. I could have been, but I don't think it's very possible to be too niche, because you're talking to a specific group of people and you want to connect with many of those people. One thing I learned for sure is that when I focused in on one specific person, then it elevated my channel completely. I only am talking to that one person, and then it ended up being there's lots of that same person. Without having reviewed your channel, like not seeing it in front of my face, I don't know if you're too niche, because a lot of times somebody will say that, but then you go over there and their content's all over the place, and they're not even niche at all. I don't even know what their niche is. I realize that your channel is about home tours, but I mean, is it though? Like, I don't know. I mean, like, I used to think I was, I already know my niche. My niche is real estate. And I would talk about HOAs. I would talk about home tours. I would talk about the local restaurant that just opened around the town, like all these things. Because I was like, well, it's all relates to real estate. It's all relates to real estate. Well, it didn't. I wasn't niche. I wasn't at all. It just so happened that I was talking about real estate, but it was all over the place. So I don't know if you're too niche. I do not know.
So, okay. I just pulled up his channel.
Can you share it?
Yeah.
Share it, Levy. I'm antsy today.
Let's see here here.
Let's go ahead and take a look. We can find out if he's too niche. I made my nails like they're pink for Easter.
All right, you see it?
Yeah. Yeah, he said definitely do a quick review. I think we might have looked at
We've reviewed this before, I think, maybe, but
I can tell you your thumbnails are not Right.
Yeah. So I would say it looks like you're doing home tour and then you're doing, I don't know if this is like on the computer and then a walkthrough here, another walkthrough.
And then what's the one that says with Mount Pleasant? Is that a walkthrough or is he sitting at his desk?
Which one? Right
The one
here?
that says Mount Pleasant. Yeah. Yeah. So you have, so this, it's two, you have to either be a home tours channel or you're an information channel. This, unless, like these, first of all, you don't have a content strategy. Secondly of all, your thumbnails are not consistent with home tours. How's the titling for his home tours?
Yeah, well, I mean, Mount Pleasant Home is shockingly low maintenance.
So I would start researching titles that work for other home tour channels and start using that for yours. The same with the type of thumbnails.
Yeah, I think that part of it is there's a little bit of a mix of looks like, I don't know if this is like,
he's doing a map tours and like he's doing home tours and map.
Yeah, it's like an actual like Google
right, but there's no
like
he's doing like, are you doing like 2 home tour videos and then a map walkthrough video? Is that what you're doing? There has to be a symbiotic relationship. You have to know when to upload these particular videos for that time period. You can't just do like 4 home tour videos and then all of a sudden throw in this map on because you don't have any home tours to do.
Yeah, this one, as you're talking, this is more of like information talking head. So you have your information, you're talking about the different areas, you're talking about the statistics. This is, and then going through Google Maps and going through it, but it's not really like a home tour. You're really trying to educate them on this market. So that's an educational thing. So you have to decide, and there are a lot of people that love this kind of stuff. Like if you're gonna do this, then do this and scrap the home tour, because home tours are people want to they want to watch for 20-30 minutes of a beautiful home, of you walking through, maybe talking a little bit about it, but there's really not a lot of other interaction that's going on. And their thumbnails and the titles are very specific. This is more of like you're educating people about the different areas, talking about, your take on certain areas or whatever, which that then becomes a talking head or a educational channel. So what I would recommend you do is see what do you like to do the most, and what is it that you're good at, and consistent at. This one is, was a month ago, and then here's another thing is, so you're going to Google Maps, but that's not where you want them to go.
You want them to go to meet you.
You want them to go to talk with you, right? And I believe like an earlier video, you had a link.
Before you click off of there, don't click off there yet. Look at his editing real quick. He's facing the opposite direction of the map.
Yeah, the camera should be.
Or you just flip your image. Flip your image so you're actually facing towards
so it
what
looks
you're
like
talking
to them.
Yeah, and not off on the screen. That's just a little simple edit flip, like mirror the image.
Okay, so you've got that. Then if we go back, all right, he's got his link here, but this is what I'm talking about. So right here, when you're trying to generate leads, you don't want them to find your dream home or get a home valuation. What you want is to talk to them. So
have a landing page.
Yeah,
Contact me.
there's not like a simple way for them to contact you.
Hit the find your dream home. Click that button. Just I want to see where it goes. Does it go anywhere?
It goes nowhere. I don't know. Maybe I need to accept cookies. Yeah, this is.
Oh, I thought that might be a landing page.
No, it's just, and I'm sure maybe it's on a timer or something where it's like you can look for so long and then it makes you register. I'm not sure, but like this right here, people are already looking on Zillow. They're already looking on Realtor.com, all these other places. So, like, don't focus on that. Focus on having. All you'd have to do to change this is talk with me today and then have a quick little form and they hit submit. And it's in what we say is above the fold. So see how like before I scroll down, it's like the form should be right here. You could split it into 2 columns basically, but that's going to get you a lot more leads than if they were scrolling down and going, okay, here's all of these different areas. It's so like what your link should do is go directly to this link right here, where when I clicked on that, this is where it should go. This is like, honestly, that's what I would suggest you do, is bypass your whole website and go directly to this URL up here that goes directly to where they can choose a time to schedule with you.
And if your audience retention's, let's just say 20%, then your call to action should be right then. And like, if you're wanting to more information about this house, go ahead and scan this code right here and have it go to that landing page that talks about that house. My landing page on a few of my QR codes goes right here. I'm going to show it really quick. So it gives them, whether they want to look for a referral or they're looking to collab with me. These 2 things they can choose from. You can even have it go straight to the actual referral page. Easy peasy.
The other thing I'm looking at is this calendar is not even working.
Uh-oh.
That's another tip is if you guys have made changes or updated or anything like that, test it and make sure that it's actually working and that you're actually getting the lead, because this it's not even. Yeah, I would make it to where you had a form first. It seems like you should be able to do it pretty quick. If your software doesn't allow you, if you can't make the change, then I recommend you use a Google form or something like that, where you can just quickly grab the information. But those little teeny things that we're talking about, when you start getting consistency, you start seeing growth, that's what you'll be able to get leads, because it's working. But you have to make sure that your lead flow and your process is actually collecting the data, or they're going like me, click, it didn't work. Man, I really liked what you gave me, but I don't want to go through the effort of trying to figure out why I can't contact you.
I don't know how many times I've looked at websites that had pop-ups, or it just wasn't finding the thing that I needed them to find. I'm like, forget, I'm not buying that crap. Like
you'll find it from someone else.
I'm gonna find it from somebody else. So, well, thank you, John, for letting us review your channel.
That was awesome.
Yep, that was amazing. Yeah, I think he was one of the ones that put it in our John. Yeah, our first one. Yep. Thank you, John. You are a gem. John's a gem.
He said, did you put that other one there? Makes sense. But then there's this one here. I have a landing page I created and I can switch that link out. Yes, just switch it out and then just make sure it works.
Yep.
Some people go through all the effort of paying and having it all done, and then they just forget. It's like, oh, I just forgot to update it. Now, here's the thing. If you change that and you have a QR code like you do on your banner, make sure you go in, re-upload the banner with the updated QR code so that it goes to that landing page too.
Yep. He's got to make those switches now.
Awesome.
Awesome sauce. All right, we got another channel review here. By the way, happy Easter.
Yeah, happy Easter.
All right, your PCS to Kitsap, everything you need to know. Lifestyle, homes, events, neighborhoods. You know what? I like her. I have to tell you, I like her. Their channel better. The only thing I would change is take off all this. No, I put a QR code here. This right here does not need to be here, but I would put a QR code here. What do you say?
Yeah, I agree. The yellow is a little hard for me to read on the your PCS to Kitsap.
Maybe
It's like whatever the drop shadow thing is.
Yeah.
It's just making it a little almost like 3D-ish.
Yeah, so I would because there's actually a green on this side and then a pink on the other side. So what I would do is just instead of I'd make that black, so it'd be easier to lift
Yeah,
off
it's
some
just a
green.
little, but it's not. I mean, that's nitpicking.
Yeah, nitpicking. All right, so let's look at their about section. All right. Military Moves is your go-to source for everything PCing, relocating real estate in Kitsap County, Washington, home to the naval base, Kitsap. I'm sure I'm saying this wrong. Keyport Naval Base. All right. So what I would tell you, because this isn't most of the time they're talking about themselves, so I wouldn't say that was terrible. The only thing I would say is I would in this description let them know what they're going to be getting from the videos themselves.
Yep.
The content in this, the content that we provide on this channel will tell you everything you need to know about PCS and relocating to the Kitsap, Washington area. We also cover anything that has to do with the naval base, blah, blah, blah. I would let them know exactly what they're going to get within those first few paragraphs.
Yeah.
The sentences from the content you create. Because it's kind of in here. All right. So you have neighborhood tours, housing insights, PCS tips, life, school, and must know info, expert. I would say you have to. This is one of those times I tell you need to niche down. Because are you about life in schools? Are you about PCSing? Are you about neighborhood tours? All those things are different niches. Would you agree, Joe?
Yeah, I would agree.
Yeah.
You got to like dial in onto one.
Yep. You got to dial in on your avatar and your niche. And I would, again, instead of search for homes, I would say contact us and use that landing page as your first highlighted thing. And I wouldn't put your Instagram or your Facebook there because if they're leaving, they're not going to go over there and just like your pictures. What you really want them to do is contact you, right? Yep. I mean, like I would take this off of there. I take Facebook off of there, and I would have first your landing page. That would be the first link. The second link I would have, that would be the website page. And then you could have like a search for homes page. What do you say, Joe?
Yeah, I would try to just simplify it and really make it a quick glance if they're looking at it. But the main thing is the link going to the landing page where you can actually collect their information.
Yep.
Let's look at some of their videos.
We can do that. Let's look at the videos. All right. So 5 PCS mistakes you'll regret. And then military moves. I would take this these little words off of there. It's really difficult to read and it's unnecessary. She's trying to use it as like a branding logo. I get that. But I wouldn't do that.
It's way too small.
Yeah, I'm going to just do something. PC. I see this a lot. Okay. All right. So, so this is what I do to kind of find like the top videos in this topic right now, just to kind of take a look at their titles and thumbnails and just get some inspiration. So let's see. All right. So they just moved to Germany. Here's one thumbnail you could kind of take a little gander at. Here's another one. So I'd start like looking to see what you could learn from these thumbnails. These aren't the greatest, I'll have to tell you. I could have sworn that I've seen better. This is one of our friends.
Yeah.
Yep. I wonder if it's the word PCSing. Do you think that's maybe that the PCSing should be on the thumbnail and not in the title? What do you think, Joe?
Yeah, I mean, it's a very, very specific thing that only the people that know what that is, you know.
Right, but if their avatar is military, they will know what it
That's
is,
what I'm saying. So like
right?
you don't need it in the title.
You don't need it in the title. I put it on the thumbnail. This is actually a really good thumbnail. This one right here.
Yeah.
I think it was the
It was the
title.
title that hurt him.
Yep. Yep.
Go back up just a little bit the other way. Yeah, that way.
Uh-huh. Am I doing it right?
Yeah, I just wanted it.
Mhm.
There was a couple up, I think, towards the top that.
Okay. That one's funny.
Mhm.
Tell me when to stop.
Yeah, I guess maybe I'm not. Maybe I thought I saw. Oh, no, keep going.
This one's a good thumbnail.
Yeah, that is a good thumbnail.
Mm-hmm. All right.
That one right there.
The German one?
Yeah. I just nope, sorry. That one is good, but scroll down
Mm-hmm.
right there. The
Mhm.
four bell that one, that's a good thumbnail. Too much text, but like his face is the right size, like the layout. You just don't know. I would have put like military stuff in there, right?
Mhm. Mhm.
But like the quality's great.
Mhm. The words on the thumbnail are wrong though.
Yeah.
And maybe a different imagery.
Well, it's because he said the same thing twice. He's putting it on the thumbnail and then it's in his title too.
Yeah, he copied that. Yeah, never repeat the words of your title on the thumbnail.
Yeah. So I guess it was just that one and the Germany one.
Yep. All right. So that was something you can learn from that. I'm trying to go back to where we were. What was it? There she is. Okay. There they are.
Let's click on our website. Where does that go?
Ooh, shoot. I didn't mean to.
Oh boy, we're zoomed in there pretty good.
Yeah, I didn't mean to do that. That was a mistake. Okay. All right. So what's the website?
Yeah, does it go? Did we look at that yet?
No, it just goes to, it's kind of the same thing the last one did.
Yeah.
Can you see that?
Yep. So same thing. A lot of this stuff we're talking about, it seems like we say it over and over, but it's so important and it's such a simple thing, but it's like it just gets overlooked. Or you don't think about, it's like, oh well, it goes to my website, so they really want to get a hold of me. And again, like leads, especially getting leads from the internet, and even if you provide a lot of value, there's still some things that you have to like really focus on. And it's like they're like water, they're going to go to the path of least resistance. So if it's very simple for them to click on your link or to scan a QR code and immediately go right to a form where it's like, hey, have a chat with me, or let's talk, or let's connect, whatever is with your brand, with however you're saying things, and then a really simple form that is going to get you the most leads. And if you want more information after they fill that out, the likelihood of someone filling out another form after you've responded to them is actually a lot higher, because now you've actually interacted with them.
Yep. You're gonna be surprised when I tell you this. I would tell you to make your image bigger. You want your face to fill up 1/3 of this thumbnail.
Yep.
And then if it was
Actually,
me,
on all of them.
right, exactly. But I was like, that was the biggest one. So that's the reason I want to pull that out. So I know it's hard. You actually want almost the top of your head cut off, literally. And like your face should fill up that whole section right there. And then the background image I would have as military. I would take this military moves to Kitsap. I would take that off of there because that's like some branding logo. And it kind of takes away from the whole thumbnail itself, because the thumbnail is like the cover of a book. And as much as we want to say, oh, don't judge a book by its cover, everybody does. That's what they do. And so to me, this doesn't say military. None of this imagery that you're using says military. So have something in the background that says military. That with a blink of an eye, with a split second, they know that this video is about military. Even I know that your title says that, but that it should complement the title.
The other thing too is if like this goes right back to what you're talking about is if you know who your avatar is, you know that stuff is there, like whether they're doing it consciously or subconsciously, they're clicking, if they see like military type things, it's associating with them because that's who they are, you know. And like, so part of when you're making these thumbnails is think about it, you know, through the eyes of who is buying. And that goes back to like what we teach in our course is you really have to dial in on who you're making the content for, who is your avatar. And once you understand who your avatar is, that helps you create a clearer message, because if you know who you're talking to and you keep that message consistent, then you're going to get more leads because you're actually creating content that is that one, people can engage on, and two, it's creating something that is very, very specific. What you guys have right here is a very, very specific thing, which is amazing because you can actually grow this really, really well. You just
stick with military.
Yeah, stick with military, but you need to make it more appealing to who your clientele is.
This one right here, this is the same mistake I made. Because I'm like, well, I want to be the digital mayor for my place, because that was the thing right there. And so I was like, oh, I'll just do a tour of all the restaurants in the area. Oh, I'll show this new bath bomb place that, you know, just opened up. And I had a vlog, and then I would do informational videos. These videos they're not going to get you what you want, which is people calling you on the phone for real estate. They're nice. They're great for like Facebook and Instagram and stuff like that, but not for YouTube. YouTube is looking at it as like a TV channel, right? So ESPN isn't going to all of a sudden start doing a cooking show, right? They're only sticking to sports. That's how you should look at your YouTube channel as well. And to me, you already kind of know what it is military people.
Yep.
So I would just make content on that. Another thing too, is your video length is only around an average of about 3 minutes, 3.5 minutes. And YouTube, like I said, people are replacing their television. So you're going to have to get that up at the minimum about 8 minutes, just over 8 minutes. But if you can get it to like, 10, 12 minutes, that would be even better, because people want this information. They're hungry for it, and they watch YouTube like they watch television.
Yeah, 100% agree with that.
Yeah. These are perfect length for Facebook, but not for YouTube. YouTube needs more information. And I don't know if you're attaching these to a blog or anything, but if you are, I wouldn't attach any of your videos until the video is at least a month old before you put it on a blog. What do you say, Joe?
I agree 100%. Not that you can't put them on, but it needs to cook. You need to build, let YouTube do its thing, and then after it does its thing, then push that stuff out there.
Jeremy Blanton says, I'd also say throw the saturation on the images at the end to make the colors pop.
Yep.
Yeah. Everybody's saturating their thumbnails a lot more. We noticed that on the trending tab recently. Matter of fact, I'll show you something that it really has nothing to do with real estate, but it has to do with the ecosystem of YouTube itself. What do you say? We show them, where is it? Oh, there it is, trending. Yeah, there we go.
Under Explore.
So we, I like to go in here and just to kind of get inspired of what's working on YouTube right now. Remember, look how big this image is. That's a big image of his noggin. But see, his image of his face takes up 1/3, 1/3 of that thumbnail, So anyways, yeah, so it's just interesting to see what's going on YouTube. I like to see what the top performing does. I love, like, look at the glow behind that guy, and then he matched it up with another glow behind the other dude. That's cool looking stuff. I like to see what's out there.
Yeah, this definitely gives you a good idea.
Look at
in
this one with the
reference for
white.
like colors.
You see this? This one's got a white background. This one's like all white. I haven't seen that in a long time.
Which is interesting because Legal Eagle usually is super, super colorful.
But this is for the Wired. It's not his channel.
Oh, what'd they do? Cut him out?
Well, I think he's probably doing a spot for them.
Okay, because I'm like, that's not on his brand. His brand is way different than that.
Yeah, it was obviously a segment for their brand. But look how long the video is, almost 30 minutes. Look, hers is 8 minutes and 6 seconds. It has to be over 8 minutes. That's why these are top performers. Oh, this one's weird. Wonder why this one was. Oh, it's a storytelling. But here's another almost white background. But then they have that pop of color with that red jacket.
Mm-hmm.
Just interesting. I always like to look. We saw this one last week with the yellow and the
just the face.
Yep. So anyways, yeah, just go in there every once in a while, just get inspired, because look, this one is super effective thumbnail. This is probably one of my most favorite thumbnails I've seen all day.
You didn't even say anything.
This says nothing. It tells the whole story of that video in one simple image, and it gets your attention. Mm-hmm. It makes you stop and scroll and look. It stops the scroll. It makes you look, and everybody knows how the U.S. found Saddam Hussein. Like, everybody remembers when they pulled him out of that hole. So anyways, yeah, I just wanted to throw that out there just to get you guys inspired. You don't have to like rip off real estate agents all the time. Sometimes it's good to rip off people that are getting millions and millions of views just to see if it works, and they saturate the hell out of those thumbnails, and you should too. All these things are connected, because somebody's like, oh, well, I don't care if I get views. I just want leads. Well,
you got to have views to get leads.
That's exactly right. You have to have views to get the leads. If nobody's watching, it doesn't make any sense.
So I want to share real quick on here. Mm-hmm. Just one, since she's already, it's the, let me share. All right. You see this thumbnail? This is exactly what you're talking about.
Oh, look at that. Why is America so OP?
But I don't care so much about like what it's saying, but like, look at the saturation on it. Look at the red, and then it's tanks. It's got the flag. That right there, it's got 1 million views, and it was 7 months. Now, obviously, this is not anything to do with real estate. Mm-hmm. However, it does, because if I were you, I would go into this channel. This is probably going to be a really good idea to see how people are putting stuff together. But look at
the color.
Look at how saturated they are. It's exactly what you just said. Like, everything is oversaturated. And people are like, well, it doesn't have anything to do with it
looks.
Yeah, let's look at their most popular video. Look at these. So now this is where I feel like you can take this and you can make it a real estate thing. So you take this information, and let's just do, I don't know.
How about this one? Russia's top nuke targets, and then you could put top places to live. Right?
Yes, exactly. That was exactly where I was going with it. Or you have the world map, and it's like, okay, you're in Germany, but then you got to go to see how these ones go to different spots. You just go to the different bases where they're at, but you use these colors. You wouldn't believe where we move next or whatever. Or you're, like there's all kinds of patterns. 3.8 million views. So like this thumbnail, that with the bright colors, all of that stuff, there's something that you can incorporate with what you're doing. If you want a face in it, It's like, okay, let's look at the faces. 2.9 million 3 months ago. Look at, they're doing two different things. You could have that, let me go back one more. This tank thing right there. It's going to resonate with your audience really, really quickly because that's what they see. So you can do something like that. You could do the little map and then have the little arrows of where to go.
Mhm.
I would definitely try those types of thumbnails because I think you'd be surprised at how effective they would be.
Yep. And I used to think it was so stupid. I'm like, how does that image really make that much of a difference?
Yeah.
Oh, I was wrong. This is funny. Jeremy says, look at the recent stuff from Mr. Beast. All over saturated thumbnails. You got to remember too, though. I mean, there is some thought process too on this. Mr. Beast is appealing to a certain age group. They're like 11, 12, 13-year-old boys, like it's all 13-year-old boy humor in that stuff. Right. So
Mhm.
he knows that like what's going to grab their attention. There's still things to be learned by it, even though your audience is going to be the same. Right.
Right.
Like how he hooks in the audience. I would never say the things that he says, but he's strategic in what he's saying, and his cadence, it makes sense for an 11, 13-year-old boy. There's something to be learned from every single large creator, whether they're talking about real estate or not. That's why they're large creators.
Right. It's not an accident. They're very strategic on it.
Yep. Moving to Charleston once again, says, with such great thumbnails, I imagine the content is extremely good quality. What if our content isn't edited like a movie like these guys are? There is a guy out there right now. He makes pretty decent thumbnails, and he just walks around with a stick and some sunglasses and a wife beater.
Talks.
Yeah. I mean, like the thumbnail is to capture them in. Those first 15 seconds of your video, actually, I would say the first 8 seconds of your video, those words that you use of that hook grabs them in, and they don't care. Honestly, this has been over time. People are not interested as overly edited videos like they were.
It actually turns them off, I think.
It actually turns them off because it's like, oh, I don't have ADHD. This is obnoxious, right? They want to have a conversation with you. So if you're interrupting that pattern all the time where they feel like you're like trying to deceive them or whatever, they don't like that. But when you're having an actual conversation with them with not a ton of editing, it's totally that's fine with them. If you look at a guy, his name's Clear Value Tax. He literally stands there with a pen in his hand. He has the same like white shirt, a tie on, and he's having discussions. And occasionally he'll have some stuff showing up on the screen. Very rarely does he add B-roll images. And they're very like far and few between because he's just giving you the information. So you don't have to be overly edited. I mean, mine is overly edited. It's too edited. I have to like tone it down, but my creative brain won't allow me to.
I think it goes back to like why are they there on your channel? Like, what is it that they're doing? And they're trying to learn something. That's why they're there. They went to YouTube because they're trying to understand something, or they're trying to figure out something. And it happens to be that YouTube is extremely smart at looking at people and saying, hey, they've been asking a lot of these questions. Let's send them these videos that a lot of people are, liking. They're getting good engagement, and people are watching the whole video all the way through. It's not so much about how if your video is edited like a movie or not. It's what is your content, because live streams just like this right here, like we're not editing any of this. It's live. But hopefully the people that are watching are feeling the values enough that they're like, hey, I have a pain point. My pain point is I need more leads. I'm trying to get more leads on YouTube. So they're sitting here listening to Christine and I talk about how to get more leads on YouTube. It's the same idea. Like,
and you're not upset that we don't have B-roll.
Yeah. It's like, oh, and half of it, we're like, oh, let's pull this up and it doesn't work how it should. People don't care about that. What they care about is, did they learn something new that can help them with whatever their pain point is?
Yeah, and like matter of fact, they prefer not to have it edited because of the fact they know that you're having an honest conversation with them.
Yep.
It's not it used to be something completely different because people were like, "Oh, I want it like a television show."
Yeah, they
But
associated it with, like, if you have high produced quality content, then
then you're
you're an
smarter.
authority. But
Right, but that also made them feel like there was a wall between you
yep,
and them. But
yep.
then when you bring it down to a level where it just sounds like you're, like, just talking to them through a cell phone, like you're having a FaceTime call, a lot of people feel more connected to that because you're just talking to them, right? So
Which is why the leads are so powerful, because they
Mhm.
feel like they already know you, and it's really kind of weird because they'll say, "Oh, I've been watching you for a while. I've been really thinking about what you've said, and I decided to reach out." And they feel like they already know you, and then you're kind of at the disadvantage because you don't know anything about them. And it's
Right.
like, you're like, "Oh my gosh," like, and they're like, "Oh, well, I already know, I already trust you," like, and you're like, "Yeah, well, who are you? Like, tell me these things." And it happens over and over when you provide those tips and the value to where they're and like almost like you're approachable because it's not this high produced quality content that makes, like you're saying, with that barrier.
Right, and it's funny too, when they're talking to you on the phone and they repeat something back to you that you said in a video, they're like, "Just like you said in that video," and I'm like,
What
"That
video?
video's
What video
that
again?
video's 11 months old." I don't know what I said.
Yeah.
Yep, yep. Well, it says that there's no roll on live. I'm leaving now. Oh, Jeremy. Oh, Jeremy. That's
Hey, we
fine.
have an intro and an outro.
Yeah, you can watch our 1-minute outro.
Oh.
Well, Joe, I think this was a fantastic live stream. I'm glad that
Yeah.
everybody got involved. Oh, we have, just to let everybody know, that we do have a new, not a new, we have a 30-day challenge coming up really soon. We'll be announcing that on the YouTube Real Estate Mastermind group that Joe and I run together. So we'll announce that. And if you guys want to sign up for that, and then we'll let you know when, like, was it pre-sign up? What do they call that?
Yeah, just register. Yeah.
Register. You can register for that, and we'll let you know when it officially starts. It officially starts, so that way guys can get ready after the Easter weekend. So, all right, everybody,
Hey.
we'll see you next week. Joe's going to be by himself, so give him a really hard time. I'm going to be in San Antonio. If you guys are in San Antonio, you can come out there and watch me talk on stage. I'm going to be talking about finding your ideal avatar, something that we were just talking
Yeah,
about.
it's interesting that you're saying that because we just talked about it.
Yeah. So, all right, everybody. Happy
Okay.
Easter. So long. Bye.
Yeah, it's the end of the stream. Christina and Joe taught you all the tricks, make your leads grow. From thumbnails to tags, you gotta be bold. YouTube's the key, turn your listings to gold. Edit those fits, make them snappy, make them fly. Engage with your audience, connect, don't be shy. Realtor to the core, but tech on your side. Hit that algorithm like a digital tide. This is the final click, now you're in the know. Use YouTube to flourish, let them listings blow. It's the small details that bring in the dough. From Christina and Joe, here's the way to go. Every upload strategic so your views ain't stopping. Consistency's key, schedule that drop. Content's king, crown it at the top. So you learn the ropes from two of the best. Christina and Joe, put your skills to the test. Turn those leads into clients, make your channel explode. Realtor success on the digital road. This is the final click, now you're in the